Hey YouTube Dan, welcome once again to another action figure review. Now, if you watch my previous review, I've done a review of the Spin Masters King Shark and Batman figures, and now I managed to pick up the Catwoman and the Robin from this line. And so I hadn't really intended on picking up the Robin because I already have like two default Robins, but because this is one of the new Bat ones, I said it might so grab it, see if there's any differences between the previous versions and the new versions. And again, same with Catwoman. I think this is the second outing for Catwoman, whereas this is like the third or fourth iteration of Robin that they've released. I could be wrong, but before we get into the figures, we'll get into the packaging. So just like with King Shark, they come on these kind of blue Bat packaging. There's no artwork on the back of the box. It just has the area where the three secret weapons are. Catwoman's box is exactly the same. The only difference is you have the figures displayed in the window of the boxes, and you have the names of the characters, so Robin and Catwoman on these. There's a Bat app that you can scan, I think, this QR code, and it lets you unlock different stuff. I haven't really used any of the QR code stuff for these, so I don't know how it works. The only kind of game sort of type thing that I have gotten is the Jurassic World Facts app, which I've used some of the QR codes for the new dinosaurs from Dominion. Well, which I don't actually have any of the dinosaurs yet from Dominion. I was using the ones that have been reviewed. People have been able to pause their videos at the right point for you to scan those codes. So there is that. But on to the figures themselves. So the Catwoman here, as far as I can tell, she is identical to the previous version of Catwoman. The only main difference I can really tell is her paint apps. Instead of grey on her head, if I just get the camera to focus, actually if I move these out of the way, it should hopefully help camera focusing a little better while reviewing these. So the only difference I can see, the sculpt is exactly the same. She's very minimal on paint applications anyway. The skin tones are the same. The face looks the same. The only difference is her goggles. On the new one, she has silver goggles. On the older one, it's just a flat grey. Everything else seems to be the same articulation. In fact, she almost has the exact same accessories. So this is the whip that comes with the new one. This is the whip that came with the old one. As you can see, it has that weird white blob on it. They had this weird thing where they had added blob paint on some of the accessories, and for Catwoman it just looked like a bird had taken a poop on it. So there is that. Her gauntlets are exactly the same. You get her big giant cat claw gauntlets, but this time done in a yellowy, off yellow gold, similar to her whip. Here's the ones on the previous ones. They fit in her hands just the same way. They just click into her hands. Her hands aren't holding them at the side. They're actually holding them on the front. So if you move the hand up, you can see the hand is just gripping the big grip on the inside. But these are done exactly the same way. They even have the similar kind of splotchy wear and tear to them. So there is not much difference. The only other accessory this one comes with is a grapple launcher, which I think it originally came with one of the Robin figures, but it's small enough you can actually I think it actually came with Batwoman, and it's small enough that, and it doesn't have a bat logo on it like some of the other ones, so you can use it for this Catwoman as a grapple launcher for her to get in and out of places. After all, she is a cat burglar. That is her main kind of feat. As I said, the whip is exactly the same. Only difference is it has that kind of scuffing going on with the yellow. The launcher, the grapple launcher, is actually done in this cool, very nice metallic green, similar to the one that came with Batman. It's a slightly lighter green as opposed to the darker green of the weapon that came with Batman, but it is a nice weapon. Articulation wise, she has all the same articulation as the previous iteration. So arm can move out, swivel all the way around, single joint elbow with a swivel. Hips can split that much, so she can do the full splits. She can kick forward. She has thigh swivel. She has a single joint at the knee with a swivel on it. And nothing in the ankle, nothing in the wrists. And peg holes on the bottom of her feet. So if you want to get her to stand, hopefully she will while I grab Robin. I might need to splay her legs out a small bit. Bear with me a moment. And she doesn't want to stand for me, does she? Let's see if I can get her to stand a little bit better. There we go. And just get her in stand. Just quick rundown of the original one. She has all the same articulation points, legs, knee joints. From what I can see, the suit, the plastic for the black is identical. I don't see any subtle differences between them. Now, maybe on screen you might be able to see it. So, one of the other things they come with is this pamphlet that showcases all the figures for this wave. This is called the Biotech wave, if I remember correctly. So, this is the Biotech Robin, Biotech Catwoman. From what I can see, her grapple launcher is supposedly rare. And on Robin, his weird kind of giant batarang thing is supposedly rare. You get a mystery weapon. They showcase one color of the weapons, and then the other ones are kind of either rare or common versions of their signature weapons. And if I just close this off, I'll grab in Robin. So from what I can see, this is a new, I wouldn't say it's a new sculpt figure. I think this figure has been released a few times as part of the Bat-Tech wave. Because I think the all translucent red version is this one as well. And this is the first version I have. It's similar in design. I almost thought it was the same figure when I first saw it, but it's actually different. The heads are slightly different. The bandit mask is actually larger on the newer one. The cowl almost looks the same sculpt. One of the weird things about this figure, not sure if you can see it on screen, is it's actually translucent. So there is translucent sections to this figure, which seems to be a staple of some of these Bat-Tech figures. I'm not too sure why they do it. Maybe it's just the gimmick that they're going with at the moment. Kind of looks a bit weird. But I thought it might share pieces with some of this first version of Robin, but it doesn't. Now, I do have one other version of Robin with the cowl down, or with the hood down. As far as I know, these are all based on the Damian Wayne style Robin as well. I don't think these are supposed to be like Jason Todd or any of the other iterations of Robin. I think these are all supposed to be Damian. So you have very similar suits between the first and second kind of release. These are from the previous kind of wave, the Cape Crusader wave it was called. Whereas this one's the Bat-Tech wave. So he does have articulation. Now, the one thing about this one is he does have a slight bit of head movement, but for the most part it doesn't seem to move. Whereas on, if I just bring him back in actually, the previous version, you could actually turn the head. It wasn't the greatest. It was hindered a lot by the cowl or the hood on the figure. This one can sort of move, but it just seems to get very stuck and doesn't want to really move, and it feels like it's going to break if you force it. Articulation wise, same thing as with Catwoman. Arms can rotate all the way around, can hinge out this much. Does get hindered where the armor piece hits the shoulder. A single jointed elbow with a swivel, just like with Catwoman. Nothing in the wrist. The elbow from the arm from the elbow down is this kind of goldish plastic, so it may over time be hit with that whole gold plastic syndrome. I don't think so. Some of the more modern gold plastic stuff seems to be a bit more robust, so there is that. Torso has this, it's a solid torso from what I can see. Unlike the arms, they have the translucent bit on the arms and on the legs going down as far as the knees, so you have that. There is that peg thing on the back, so if you have, where did I put it? It is on Batman. So if you have one of those backpack pieces, you can fit it onto Robin. Same with Batwoman, or sorry, Catwoman. If you have one of the various backpack things that will use that peg, she does have that giant peg system on her back as well. It's like a hexagonal peg. And we'll see if she can stand again. I get back over Robin. She's going to probably fall over. Now, as I got to the arms, hips can do the same thing. Same splits. Forward, single jointed knee, swivel at the knee, thigh swivel, and I'm not sure if you can see it on screen. It's kind of hard. Depending on the light you have behind them, you're going to get different translucency of the plastic. And he does come with 3 accessories, just like his other counterpart. So one of the 2 weapons that they tend to be packing with Robin figures is this kind of double-headed stick staff type weapon. So it has like a almost batarang on the top of it, and a kind of a trident piece at the bottom. I have this one that came with the red hooded, the full up hood version of Robin also came with this. So there is that one. And then he comes with a pair of nunchucks, which has a slight, they're done in orange, but they have a slight metallic yellow kind of wash over them as well. I'm not sure if the camera's picking that up, but you have that for these. And then for the kind of metallic weapon, which seems to be the go-to on these, you get one kind of all metallic weapon, which is nicer than the old, this is one of the older ones. This is the translucent. Actually, this is from Batman, one of the previous ones. They kind of went with this kind of transparent plastic for some of the weapons, whereas they're kind of going with a solid metallic color, which I really love the color of this. Now, I do believe I got a very similar weapon like this with Nightwing. Unfortunately, I don't have it handy, but I think Nightwing's one was kind of a purple translucent version of this, whereas this is a dark, kind of dark green. It does appear to be almost the same color as the green from the Catwoman weapon, and it is a lighter shade of green of the one that came with Batman. So it is slightly different greens. They aren't just sticking to the same kind of same green colors, the same metallics. It is nice that they're kind of mixing it up a bit, but it is, I'm not sure what you call this. It's almost like a batlet is the best way to describe it. It looks like a fairly evil edged weapon that could do a lot of damage. So he does hold them quite nicely. Unfortunately, he can't hold all 3 weapons at the same time. So he can't hold his big weird blade thing. He can't hold his nunchucks. And he can hold the staff. If I can get it into his hand, it does click in. Well, not click in, but you have to kind of get it into his hand. But once it's in, he holds it quite nicely. So he can hold his weapons. Overall, he's not a bad figure. I'm not a big fan of the translucent plastic kind of thing going on. I know they've done that with a few of the Batman figures. I think there was a all purple translucent Joker figure as well, and I think the very first version of Riddler they did, or one of the later versions of Riddler they did, was all transparent green. So, I mean, some people will love it. I'm not a big fan of it myself, but I suppose it just depends on your preference. So, just to bring in a few figures for size comparisons. Well, there's the other Robin figures. Just so you can see, I think Robin should be about the same height as these other iterations. There is a Nightwing figure. Now, I haven't seen the Bat-Tech Nightwing. His symbols seem to be larger on the new version. There is the Spin Master Superman. Good old basic black and grey, black and grey suit Batman, which seems to be packed in every wave. You get one of those, at least in one each box for the waves. And then some various iterations of Batman and the Batwing suit. We can just get him to come in and stand without falling over, hopefully, or knocking everyone else over. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video review, and I hope you found it entertaining. And as always in my videos, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And I hope you enjoy this video. Cheers, guys.